challenge of insecurity has failed the nation from the start of the week to this very moment. There are different phrases to the discourse, one of which is the call to remove the service chiefs. The government responded very quickly to that in a statement where it said that the service chiefs cannot be removed at the moment because of the synergy needed for them to tackle the various forms of crime and criminality in the country. Amnesty International also came up with a report of inhuman treatment on civilians by the Nigerian military. And they said those ones are for the army that are operating in the northeast of the country. But the government also asked Amnesty International to stop providing succor to terrorists with its growing practice of constantly attacking the Nigerian military and chasing them as the bad guys. The Minister of Information also responded to the calls for some quarters for the President Muhammadu Buhari to resign. He said that the President will not resign. Those who are having that notion in mind should just perish it. Colonel Yomi Dare, retired, joins us from our Abuja studios. He is paired with Bishop Amakere, the Chairman, Young Progressive Party, the YPP. I want to thank you, gentlemen, both of you, for joining us on State of the Nation. Let's start with you, Colonel Dare. Do you share the views with those who say that President Muhammadu Buhari should resign?
Well, I thank you very much, Jimba, for having me on board. And then I say a very good evening to viewers all over. It's a very topical issue as we speak. Personally, I do not subscribe to the view or the opinion that the president should resign. I do not subscribe to it at all.
Tell us why you do not subscribe to it.
I do not subscribe to it because, I mean, what we have at hand, yes, the crisis is on, but it's all still work in progress. And I expect that we'll come up with ideas, like I expect during the course of this evening, to be able to advise, the federal government on my own perspective and what I believe should be done in this circumstance. So calling for the president to resign, I don't think that is what we want to do right now. Nigerians should rally around the armed forces, should rally around the federal government in its effort to fight this monster called insurgents. Thank you.
While we wait for that very clip by the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, on when he said that the president will not resign by any means, we're hoping that our director will get that set for me any time from now. But let me come to you, Mr. Amakere. Does this ultimately boil down to perceived interference by the political class on issues as delicate as security, more so in the north?
Thank you, Jimba Umar. Well, the question, I think you need not even need to ask this question, because it's very obvious today in Nigeria that, honestly, Nigeria has reversed. We are in a reverse gear without no steering. And this is what I will call, what some people say, the more you look, the less you see. It's no more the more you look, the less you see. It's not the more you look, the more you are getting blind, because we continue to have, different, perception from individuals. And there's no way anybody will be in a country and things are not going well, especially when it borders security. And you think that people will just, sit down. The president, as a general that everybody we know, I do not expect the president at this point to still be holding a portfolio that you call Minister of Petroleum. I expect that the president by now, maybe the people calling for his resignation are not really actually talking about resigning from the office of the president. I think maybe they're trying to remind him that he should forget all this politics that we play. It's just all about interest. I see no reason why the president should be talking about being a Minister of Petroleum when there is the Ministry of Defense there. He should go and man that Ministry of Defense and take the lead as a general, because he rode on the mantra of these security challenges that we have in Nigeria and promised Nigerians that he was going to proffer solution to the problem.
Yeah,
So
if I may just come inside there and butt in, my apologies, but you rightly said that that's one of the mantras the president rode on to get the mandate of the people, provision of security in the country. But you are a politician, yes, and it has come up time and again. Even the Chief of Army Staff did say at some point that there has been political interference, not only in the northern part of the country, but just about everywhere else. Can you sit there as a politician and then tell us that there is no political interference in the fight to root out these insurgents up north, as well as the northwest and the northeast?
I've just told you something, Gemba Umar, that what we have today is what I would call the more you look, the more you are getting blind. There is huge political interference in the affairs of curbing insecurity in Nigeria. And that is why if you don't have leadership at every time I come to this program, Gimbo Umar, or not even only this program, the first thing I talk about is how do we address the issue of leadership in our country? It appears that we really do not have leaders who are really passionate, very passionate about the well-being of this country. And nobody needs to be told that they have beginning to mix politics and governance. I expect that by now the APC should have over time, actually proffer solution to this insecurity that has bedeviled our country. Because like I said before, they rode on the mantra of insecurity, that they were coming. Look, there was no names this APC didn't call the PDP, even though, like I said, both PDP and APC, I maintain my standard. They are brothers of the same parent. So at this point, I am not surprised with anything you continue to hear from this government telling you one story today, tomorrow they tell you another story. And let me just refer you to Zamfara. There was a time that the Inspector General of Police invited the former governor of Zamfara State. He invited him to Abuja to come and, give him some security reports on what is going on about this banditry in Zamfara State. Up till tomorrow, nobody can speak about, or nobody can tell Nigerians how about that report is. They swept it under the carpet. Nobody's hearing anything from that call, by the Inspector General of Police. So what that means is that they have politicized the whole thing. And it is quite unfortunate that Nigerians are paying the supreme price of this incompetence of some level of leadership that Nigerians are yearning for. And up till now, we have not been able to get this leadership that we require to get in our country. It's quite unfortunate.
Let me flip it to Colonel Dare. Let me flip this to Colonel Yomi Dare, retired. Just today, we saw that report come through. Motorists were attacked near Lantewa. It's a community very close to Damaturu, the Yobe state capital. It seems to be happening every other day, despite calls for a new thinking along the lines of reorganizing the nation's security architecture. The government responded, saying that whatever the case is, service chiefs now more than ever before need to be on ground and provide that kind of synergy to fight insurgency and the banditries and kidnappings that goes on. Does it add up to you that they say and stand by that? I know that you have been a proponent saying that the security chiefs cannot be changed at this time, but have you changed your mind?
Well, Jimba, let me quickly correct that impression. I have never said that there shouldn't be change or there cannot be change. Now, let me just be straight with you here, because we're talking about lives. We're talking about security. And like like I've always said, security is everybody's business. Now, listening, my advice as we speak, because the situation is really getting bad, my advice to the federal government is that there should be a declaration of war. Honestly, there should be a declaration of war in the Northeast so that we just face it squarely. And if it's going to take us the next 24 months, the next 36 months, 48 months, let's face it squarely, because we have been at this thing. And if we don't take a decisive position as we speak, we might continue to be in this situation, only God knows for how long. So that is my take here.
Okay, that's a good place to let it rest. I'm afraid that that's where we can, that's the much we can take along this line of discussion. I most sincerely thank you so much indeed, Colonel Yomi Dare, retired, as well as Bishop Amakere, the chairman of YPP, that's the Young Progressive Party. Thank you both, gentlemen, for talking to us.